Hi, I'm Eza, aka EvilCleverDog, and in this video I'm going to show off some great flexible paints for armour and prop making. If you watched my Polyprops unboxing video, you'll have seen that they sent me these great flexible paints called Hexflex that I've really wanted to use for a long time. Hello. If you're gonna be adorable, you might as well be on camera. There we go. You comfy? Are you comfy? Are you good? You ready for your close-up? Okay, let's keep going. I'm always on the hunt for paints and other products that are going to give me the best finish I can get on my foam armour. I really want paints and stuff that aren't going to crack or crease or flake off when I'm walking around on a con floor or at a photo shoot, or if I have to like pack my armour away in a suitcase or something. On their website, Polyprops describe these Hexflex paints as a high pigmented paint that remains flexible when it's cured. So obviously these should be really, really good for painting foam armour. I did use the Hexflex paints very briefly in my Scarlet Witch headpiece video, but I wanted to do another video where I tried out each of the colours they sent me and also did a little test to see just how flexible that paint stays when it's cured. So that's what this video is, and Finn's here too. In this video I'm also going to try out the texture shots they sent me, which I went over in my unboxing video very briefly, but today I'm actually going to get to try using them. And yes, just as a disclaimer, Polyprops did send me these paints for free, but my opinions about them are all my own, and I was actually the one who reached out to them because I've been using their products for so long and I really love them. Here are the main products I'm using in this video. We have the Hexflex paints in lots of matte and metallic shades, the texture shots, and black and clear Hexflex primer. And a very nosy dog. To get started, I cut up some sample pieces of foam. I cut a bunch of pieces of black foam, as this is the foam I usually use for the majority of my armour crafting. But I also cut 2 pieces of white foam to test how the paints behave with lights. I use the clear Hexflex primer to prime the white foam, as this will allow the light to still shine through it. Next, I coat the black foam in the black primer. As always, I cover it in about 3 or 4 layers to get an even coating over all of the foam. Next, I choose one piece to be my texture shot sample. Texture shots are a little tub of powder that you mix in with your primer or paint to make it cure with a grainy texture. I mix it into my primer and apply it to the foam. I waited for one layer to fully dry before applying another, which I found allowed me to build up a thick, heavy texture over the foam. I'm trying to make it as grainy as possible. Here's the difference between the regularly primed foam and the texture shot foam. It has a great grainy texture that could be useful for creating a lot of different organic materials like stone, sand, or rust. Now I get to painting. First, I'm using the matte colours. They sent me a random selection from their range. First, I used the Hot Rod Red. This only took 2 layers to get a solid, even coverage, and I really like how vibrant the colour is. Next is the Blueberry Blue. This colour's first layer was a little less opaque than the reds, but that's usually the case with lighter colours over dark foam anyway. Again though, once I got to the final layer, the colour was really good. It's a lovely dusky blue. The Sunset Yellow and Apple Green, which I paired together, were probably the least opaque of the matte colours on their first layer, but again this is something I often find to be the case with yellow and light green paints. The colours turned out beautifully though, and I particularly liked the warmth of the yellow. They just needed an extra layer. For the texture piece, I used the Pistachio Green. I was deliberately watering it down to give it a paler, greyish tone as I wanted to make this piece look like stone. Already I could see that the texture shot would come off really well, especially if I were to put a black wash over it later, which I did, so I'll come back to this piece later on. The next 2 test pieces will be with the white foam. As you can see, my phone light still shines through the foam with a clear primer on it. I used the mint green on one of my white foam pieces. This colour went on really well on the white foam and I only did 1 layer. I really like its tone a lot. Next, I used paints from the metallic range. I used the Royal Gold paint on the other white foam piece. Again, this went onto the white foam very easily and it has a lovely brightness to it that I really like. Next, I tried out the silver. This silver paint went on so smooth, even on the black foam. I only had to do 1 layer and it turned out so beautifully. I was really impressed with how even and shimmery it looked after only 1 layer of paint. Next is the Rose Gold, which was one of my personal favourites out of this selection. Like the silver, it went on very easily and the colour just looks beautiful. The next 2 colours are fairly similar. First is the Metallic Turquoise. All of these metallic colours were very easy to apply and have a great shimmery quality to them. This turquoise also has a nice warm tone to it. This one, called Metallic Blue, is paler and colder in tone than the turquoise. Again, it was very easy to apply and it looks great when it dries. With all my sample pieces done, I used some of Polyprop's Satin Valor spray on all the foam pieces to seal the paint. For one last touch, I did a black wash on the texture shot sample. This immediately added some dimension to the paint job and brought out just how great that grainy texture looks. I then lightly dry brushed some of the pistachio green back over the sample piece to highlight the texture some more. I really like how it came out and I think the texture looks fantastic. I also sealed the paint on this piece one more time before my endurance test. To test how effective the Hexflex paints are, I tried folding and twisting each of the sample pieces. I was really impressed by how well they held up. The texture shot sample held up so well, none of the texture came away at all, none of it flaked or creased or anything. On the rest of the pieces, I also didn't get any cracking or flaking paint at all, and barely any noticeable creases even from folding the pieces inwards on themselves. So these Hexflex paints do indeed remain flexible after curing. I also think all the colours look really good. Not only the metallics, which are beautiful, but the matte colours too, which are all really vibrant. There are also a lot of other colours in the range that I would love to try out after this. The samples painted on white foam with the clear primer still allowed light to shine through them. I'm only using my phone light here, which isn't the best, I know, but it's all I had on hand, and it gives an idea of how good some armour or a prop made with these foams and paints could look with proper LEDs installed in it. I'm really happy with the way these paints worked on these small sample pieces. They withstood quite a lot of wear and tear. Most of them didn't crease and none of them cracked at all. I think that the colours are really beautiful and vibrant. In particular, I'm a fan of the silver and the rose gold. I think they're really vibrant and pretty and shiny. The silver was probably the easiest to apply to the foam. It literally only took one coat to get this amazing coverage of it, which is great because silver is definitely the colour, the metallic colour that I would need to use the most when making armour. So this means that one pot of this is going to last a lot longer because I'm only having to do one layer on each piece. I'm really impressed with the texture shots as well. I really love how the texture looks, and it's great that I can like roll it up and stuff and the grainy texture doesn't like flake off or crease or crack or anything. I think this is a really good option for creating like heavy rust effects on armour, and I really like it a lot. So yeah, I think I will definitely be using the Hexflex paints and the texture shots. Oh my god, Finn! Okay, you wanna get down? Okay, bye. So yeah, I think I will definitely be using the Hexflex paints and the texture shots in future builds. I just want to once again thank Polyprop so much for sending me these products to try out. I was already a big fan of their foam and their Hexflex primer, so it was great to try out some of their other products and see what else they have on offer. If you want to look into or buy any of these products yourself, then you can go to poly-props.com and I will put a link in the description down below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment down below, and if you want to see more cosplay and crafting videos, then remember to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you get notified when I upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.